Hey there, Nomads of Lore. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Sean.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. Just got done watching episode 5. Super excited to break it down with you guys.
Yep.
Like I just said, Sean and I got done watching episode 5, and so we're gonna give you our real raw reaction and kind of break some of it down. Spoiler alert for all of the episodes 1 through 5, obviously, and then probably some mild spoilers for book 1. We've been trying really hard to
In our reactions.
in our reactions and just in general in our content to keep book spoilers at a minimum for you guys, especially unless we obviously give you a warning. But in this reaction, we're going to try to keep it to an absolute minimum. And of course, we're doing this, very, very raw. We just got done, so there may be some points that we accidentally say a name that might be from,
And we've only read the books once, so
Yeah.
we may accidentally just top of mind say something weird
or say something dumb. That's okay. Anyway, you're here with us. You know it.
Yeah.
That's good. So let's get started. So what did you think?
So yeah, of course, that's our mantra around here at Mead and Mischief. This, I can still say, even after having some time, a little bit of time, to an hour or two or whatever to ruminate it, had worship practice, and so I had a few minutes to think about it. So this is still, even after thinking about it, probably my least favorite episode of the season so far. They have a new behind the scenes bonus content. After watching that and after doing some thinking, I am feeling better about it than I did initially. I still have some problems with this episode. We'll discuss some of those. This episode is almost, for me right now, it's going to be almost kind of the opposite of like the last episode and some of the other ones. It's going to be more of, I have several issues with this episode, but there were a few really great moments. I don't know yet. I haven't had enough time to digest it to know whether these moments are some of my favorite of the season, but there were some moments that I loved. Well, without spoiling this video, there was one moment with one of my favorite characters in the book series, a couple of moments actually that were really great. And so I definitely liked some things in this episode. I'm not out and done with but I have more issues with this episode than I have had so far. What about you?
I think I liked it a little better than you. It's still probably my least favorite. I don't know. I think episode 1 and this one are kind of tied for me.
They have similar issues actually.
Yeah. I didn't like before we get down, we're going to break down obviously each storyline for you and kind of go through our reaction through all that. Before we do that, the only real thing I have to say is that I didn't like the way it was like, oh, we all happened to arrive at the tower at the same time.
The timing issue. I mean, they were all headed there.
I know they were.
I know
it was just like, oh, look, it's the tower. Oh,
yeah,
look,
it was very
it's the tower. Oh,
plot
look,
convenient.
it's the tower.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, But other than that, there was some really good. There was several shout out moments for me that I was like, yes. Especially, anyway, we'll get into it. But so those are our generic thoughts, I guess. So let's start with Matt and Rand because I think they had the least going on. Overall, we kind of had them following. I don't even know. I guess just a group of people.
Yeah, I think we're kind of implying some of their time at post Tom stuff, and all of that. And so we're kind of just implying some of that, which is kind of fine to me. We're fast tracking some stuff with Matt a little bit. I'm glad that they gave us one more episode and didn't focus on that. There was some discussion about in our comments and some other places as well that they were going to do some things with Matt. in this episode. I'm glad that some of that is waiting. There was enough in this episode.
Yeah,
it's one of my issues with this episode. There's so much crap in this episode. Just kind of like, all right, let's throw a bunch of junk together.
Yeah.
So Matt and Rand stuff was fine. I liked that they were meeting up with everybody. I liked the scene with I like that they kept the Logain parade scene. It's a little different because Matt and Rand are both there instead of just being Rand.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fun kind of, it's not in Camelin, of course, which I don't have a problem with that at all, budget and whatever else. I would rather them wait and have these major places like Camelin and Tyr and some of these other places be the places that they need to be instead of skimping on budget and going everywhere or whatever else.
They did mention Camelin. Thought that was
multiple
nice.
times.
But no, I liked going back a little bit. I liked Rand's kind of outfit he had going on with the cloak and the sword and the bow and arrow and stuff on his back. It was pretty cool.
Well, and even Matt had a little bit warmer clothes
going on. Yeah,
poor guy.
Yeah, he was having problems. Lots of problems.
Yes.
Anyway, so then we meet Loial, which was interesting and awesome. I liked it a lot. I think it's obviously when you meet a new creature that you've had in your mind just from a book, it's obviously not going to meet your expectations.
It's not going to be
but I really liked it. I felt his cadence and his words and even the writing of his words were spot on for an Ent, and that's exactly what he was written after. It was just my wife and I just got finished watching the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, so I got to see the Ents really recently, and so it was like everything he was doing was very Ent-like.
Entish.
Yeah, and it was good. It brought me right back to that, and I love the scene that. Where he brings Nynaeve in, and he's like, I found this woman that you were telling me about, and then he keeps going.
Yeah,
and
while they've all moved on, and he's still yammering away.
Nynaeve, and they're all hugging and stuff, and he's like, well, yeah, and the braid and blah blah blah. Anyway, it was really funny.
Yeah, that was very funny.
Yeah, so I'm glad we have him.
I liked his moment of with his smile. It was jarring for me, his physical appearance at first, because it takes me personally a little bit of time to adjust to this new, this is the way this creature person is going to look. But I rewound that first scene when I watched it the first time, because I thought he said something, so I rewound. Did he say what I thought? And he didn't. I know that's very vague, but some of it may be spoilery, and some of it may be just doesn't matter. But anyway, I rewound it, and going back and seeing that again, I chuckled the second time I saw him. Oh, that's odd. I like oddities.
What a
wonderful Loial. That's a very loyal character moment, and I love his little grin.
It was.
I like his writing, the writing behind him, and I like the way his vocal delivery. That took me a second or two to get used to, because it's it's very different, and I think it's well done. Not 100% sure how to pronounce the actor's name. I think it's Hamed. But
Hamed.
I don't know. I was watching another video, and I don't know for sure, but I think it's something along those lines. It might be. I almost thought I heard them say Muhammad, but maybe they just said Hamed. I don't know. But whatever his name is, I thought his line delivery was very interesting to me, and because it was very Shakespearean, which makes sense. That's his background. His background is theater, and Midsummer's Night Dream and all that. And so it was, you could feel that but then also the way he pronounced certain words, it was also kind of that Shakespearean, but with kiddish pronunciation. So it's a very interesting juxtaposition of,
which
is really good.
Kind of spot on for Loial.
Exactly.
So that's interesting.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. And I think Loial is probably the only thing we got right in our prediction video.
Well, and even that we kind of mentioned begrudgingly. Well, no, wait, we didn't mention that one. Wasn't one that we mentioned begrudgingly. That one was.
Yeah,
one
no,
that
we were pretty sure that.
Yeah, we got a lot wrong. Which
Hey, that's okay.
And I don't know if you watched our prediction video, when you watched it, when we made that prediction video, none of the preview of episode 5 stuff had come out, so we didn't see all the Tarvalin clips and all, and the whatever else and the images that came out and all that stuff. So we had seen none of that.
Yep.
And so, which may change the way we do our prediction video this time. We may decide to wait a little bit longer in case. Yeah. I think on Tuesdays they're planning to release something like that. So we may just give our raw, off the cuff, YOLO thoughts.
I kind of liked it. Yeah. So I definitely liked the comments from all you guys. It's
absolutely
fun and interactive.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a prediction video because it's fun to talk to y'all about that.
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
So.
Oh, and before we continue on, I totally forgot to mention earlier, we are going to do basically this same thing, but with more spoilers.
Full book spoilers
and live on Saturday morning, some point, 10-ish, 10, 11-ish, somewhere in there.
So subscribe and ring the bell.
Subscribe, ring the bell. You'll know when we come on, and you can join us and throw random things at us or
Those are fun because we get to talk freely and
interact with you guys.
Yeah,
and exactly. I like it. So anyway, also thank you for everything.
Absolutely.
So, okay, we continue on with them. We get Nynaeve comes back, which is really cool.
Yeah.
There's a really cool scene with her, and the scene with her and Matt was interesting where he kind of freaked out on her.
Well, and her handling it was interesting, too. It shows a depth of character there that she didn't
jump back and, like I'm not touching him ever again kind of thing.
Yeah, or trying to control and change what's like being the school marm slapping him on the wrist with a ruler or something. I mean, she didn't have that reaction.
And she was still concerned about him. I love the way you said it earlier, and you can say it right now.
Yeah, she is the highlight of the show right now. I mean, really, she steals every scene that she is in. Mm-hmm. Zoe Robbins is doing a phenomenal job. The writers are doing a phenomenal. I love her so much in this show right now.
The scene after that she's sitting out with Rand outside the room, and she's telling the story about Egwene and when she was little and some kind of sickness or whatever, and that Egwene can never be broken. And of course, it's tying in with what's going on at the moment with Egwene and Perrin,
and future too.
But the future stuff and book readers, you know what I'm talking about. The rest of you, go read.
Or
wait until you wait on the show and find out. But there will be there will be a payoff for you if you do either one of those things. So anyway, loved that. I'm trying to think if there was anything more in that storyline past that
with Matt. Not much. They really kind of let that fade, which is good. I'm glad. Well, there was so much in this. This episode felt like a kitchen sink episode to me. I know episode 1 was as far as plotting and pacing was chaotic, but I actually personally, I know a lot of people you've expressed that you didn't like that as much. Personally, I felt like that was a strong opening for this chaos and whatever else. I thought other than the very ending of that episode,
I thought it was very fast. That's really my biggest deal. Is it was too fast. Yeah. This one was better.
It would have been better if they had more time in that.
As far
first
as
episode.
I'm concerned, it was better paced.
See, I don't even agree personally. Actually, I think because there was so much, and it felt like we were just shoving everything in. Like we just, here's a thing, and there's a thing. Because this, and we're gonna get into this in a minute, but the point of this episode and the main thrust. That's a word apparently now. I don't know, whatever.
Juxtaposition? Yes. Is that what you were saying?
I don't even know at this point.
That's what it was.
But whatever I'm saying, the main bit of this episode was not in the books. I mean, some of the concepts they're trying to get across are, of course. And I don't think they knew what to do. And then they had to do all these other things like bringing Loial in and whatever. So it just felt like we just threw a bunch of stuff together. And I liked the Nynaeve reunion, but it felt almost anticlimactic as far as a reunion and all this other stuff. I know I'm kind of spinning it, but yeah. And we can jump back on our of going through the different plot lines, but
So
but
I kind of
yeah,
agree with
to
that. I
rebut
still,
your
I
pacing
still
thing.
think that the
Yeah.
pacing was good for me. At least
Sure.
it
Yeah.
seemed like
We get to disagree. Our videos are better when we disagree a little bit, in my opinion.
it seemed like everything was there. There was enough of everything. I didn't have anything where, except
Gotcha.
for Matt and Perrin, there wasn't very much movement on that side of the story.
Right.
And Nynaeve, that was a little bit of a letdown, but I felt like there was enough movement and everything. I just felt like there
some big
wasn't
stuff from her next episode.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
to be continued in our predictions video.
And there was a lot of little things. So one thing I did forget to talk about with Matt and Rand was the blood and bloody ashes.
Blood and ashes.
Blood and ashes. Blood and ashes. Yeah. I was so excited that they were.
He was just recently complaining.
The one line finally it came through. I was like, I thought it was going to be Matt that did it, but it was Rand. Then
he's too busy actually cursing.
Yeah, exactly. So then let's move over to the White Tower.
The main through line of the story, but one of the least interesting in my opinion. Well, I say that it was. So the point of this episode, if you haven't watched the behind the scenes stuff, I mean, the point of this episode, and I mean, it's fairly obvious from watching the episode. The whole point of it is to show and to highlight and illustrate the Warder Aes Sedai bond and how powerful that is, and when that gets yanked away, what can be the consequences,
what the repercussions were,
and there are some things so we essentially spend an entire episode making that point, which I have a theory on why, which unfortunately I'm gonna have to table and put a pin in for our book spoiler discussion because it's got some heavy spoilers in it. So yeah, if you're a book reader and want to discuss that, the why we spend an entire episode on that,
come back on Saturday.
Come back on Saturday, or comment after we've watched the recorded video. Either one works.
Yep.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot of things that happened in this.
Yeah, so we got them kind of coming back in town, and obviously Steppen's having a hard time.
Yes,
and he kind of is breaking apart long before the ending, the climax, for sure. And I could tell, I was pretty sure that was where we were going because of the shots that we had seen a long time ago of. Lan, the fact that scene didn't happen with the Aes Sedai death, I was like, we've got to have that scene, and it's got to be this other thing. So anyway,
Siri scared the heck out of me. We're not talking to you, lady.
Anyway, I thought it was interesting how they tried to console him a little bit. The other warders did, and I thought it was kind of
and they knew that warders when their Aes Sedai dies, they can have suicidal tendencies, and which I probably shouldn't say or we'll get demonetized. We're not even monetized yet, but
but bad things can happen to them.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it was just interesting that they kind of tried to console him, but then then they kind of left him to his own. I mean, I know Lan went and spent the night with him. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. There was no real support system for him, which I know is kind of.
Well, there was.
I know that they were working on
a lot
the
of
whole
support system for him, though. I mean,
after the ceremony, though, there was like was nothing. It was like they had the ceremony. Everybody was kind of around him. They got him ready. He went and dropped the ring. I thought that was a really cool scene, by the way. He dropped the ring in the little ring of fire.
That was an interesting
kind of
cool little thing.
And then
they
had
Lan should have been a great support system, and if it wouldn't have been for the whatever tea that he which I did like that as a way to do that. When I mean it was kind of a bit of an oh crap moment, and you saw what was happening and whatever else. I liked that piece of that plot line's puzzle. It was interesting. I don't know, like it might have been confusing that the whole thing with Alana, that for if you happen to be watching this and you're not a book reader, that can help a warder who's lost their Aes Sedai if they
Is to be
are
bonded
bonded
to
to another,
sister.
and that can help with that. With
And I think
all
that
the
was the thought that they
repercussions.
were having is we'll try to do this, but of course
Yeah.
he was
Yeah, it
gonna
was too much.
he was done.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I did so it
Yeah.
I a lot of people had problems when we saw the pictures before we actually saw how these were happening. Was that
Well,
the
and
land?
the little clip from the
Yeah,
trailer or teaser, or
it made
whatever
it,
happened.
or we thought, okay, there's an Aes Sedai death, so we thought it was Moraine being sad about the Aes Sedai death, and so Lan should have been
I
feeling
could have
less
sworn
of that.
that's what we heard, what like Rafe said or somebody, but I
Well,
don't know.
but it was obviously opposite. So it was actually Lan's intensity that she was feeling some of, which I liked that they actually kept that. That it was, it was felt by her,
Oh yeah, yeah. I see
but
what
not
you're
as
saying.
intense
I
as
follow
his
what you're
as
saying.
his whatever. Now on his side, I did have a little bit of a hard time believing that he would go as primal as he did. I guess the kind of screams and things like that, just because Lan is supposed to be a stone.
So that was one of the biggest things that the behind the scenes helped me, because and we've been kind of writing a comment and thinking through Lan and some of the changes that they've made. He's one of the main characters. He's one of the most changed personality wise, in our opinion. A lot of the changes so far have worked for us, and some of I think they're making him more relatable and making the Nynaeve Lan relationship more believable, and and some of those, and that works. This one, when I watched this episode, especially for the first time, I felt like this is kind of too far at this point. There's, I mean, or those of you who've read the books, that some really crappy stuff happens to Lan that would affect him greatly, and he responds by kind of riding off into the sunset, and not so we in the books we don't see this level. So Rafe's justification and so the idea in that scene is that this was their custom that they were deciding to go with as far as a funeral custom was that of a chief mourner person, and that which is a thing in certain cultures, and that where everybody else is supposed to basically be stoic, and the one person carries the grief, which was the point of him saying all that.
Yeah.
And so Rafe's idea there is he was kind of allowing us a window into the depths of Lan and the feelings there, and with in a character that we wouldn't normally be able to see that level. And they also had a little moment of interview with Daniel Henney, and I really appreciated what he said, which, in case that's the Lan's actor's name, and his comment was really interesting to me. He said, that was a really difficult scene for him because, I felt like Lan, is him speaking. He said, I felt like Lan wouldn't really be somebody that cries, and so how to deal with that and how to express it. He said, but he said, I feel like he would know the script, how to yell and this sort of primal feeling, and so that was kind of how he chose to emote that. And so after watching that in particular, I like that scene much, much better. In fact, I might even actually like that scene and not just not dislike it. Anyway, I don't know if those revelations help you. Watch that behind that scenes. It may or may not help with some of that.
Yeah.
It helped me a lot,
Yeah.
personally. So
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that that definitely helps a little bit. So we're done with that, right? We're done with
that's the end of that story
sequence.
thread.
Trying to think, there were some little things with Leandrin making her snaky
Yes,
ways
we got
around.
a lot of tower.
I was wondering what she was trying to do.
Well, and there's actually a few things I want to discuss on Saturday
with the flowers and stuff. But anyway, or telling her to go to the library or the flowers or something. Anyway,
well, she's trying to get her to join the Red Aja for sure. I mean, at least that much. I mean, she's trying to like butter her up.
What are the? Okay, oh, she's just telling her. Oh, these are things you can do.
That's the at least the surface
I thought
level
she had
of what
some kind of thing
what I
behind
interpreted from
But
that.
I thought it was hilarious. She's not going to be a red Audrey. She already talked about her being a snake. We know this. No. Anyway, so let's move over to Perrin and Nynaeve.
Both of our
Perrin
favorite story thread
Egwene.
in this episode.
Yes, for sure. I've been waiting for this. So anyway,
you've been waiting for torture. Apparently,
no. The outcome of the torture.
Some certain key things.
Yes. Outcome of the torture. Yes. No. Yes. So I liked how they introduced. We knew the White Cloaks were coming back. Hey, that was another thing we got right.
Oh,
in the
look
predictions.
at that.
We knew the White Cloaks were coming back, and they did, and they came back in full force. And I loved
didn't
the
go down
brutality.
Like we thought it was going to go down.
No, I love the brutality though of them kind of beating on the. I don't love that. I'm just saying I love the characterization.
Well, the self-righteous being able to do this. We're going to do what we want because we're in the light, quote unquote.
Yes, because we are better than everyone.
Exactly, and we're policing all the people.
But the Tuathalan standing there together and
that was kind of a classic hippie, which is very Tuathalan on Tinker.
Yeah.
So.
And then, of course, Aram trying to
help them
away.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they get caught and they get put in the tent, and then, of course, he tries to get her to channel, and that is that's a really cool scene because Egwene is like trying to figure this guy out, and the guy I can't remember his name now.
The actor?
Valdar is right.
Valda?
Eamon Valda, but I don't remember the
Child
actor's name.
Valda. I liked that. I felt like they kind of maybe hammered that. We are amalgamating two characters. Child Valda. Like, okay, we get it. You're combining these two characters. We get it.
Yep. But anyway, it was pretty cool. And then of course how did you feel about the reveal of? I thought that was interesting that Perrin revealed to Egwene when Valda left that he actually killed.
Well, that to me was obvious that was going to happen. As soon as they were bound to get, that was very clear that he was going to have to struggle. He was going to be he deserved like I saw that coming for sure. That I thought was very clear in that later scene. Before we talk about that second scene with them, though, I want to talk about the first one though too, because that's my favorite scene of this episode easily. So if that's all right,
go for it. Which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about the earlier one where he first starts cutting into Perrin and all that kind of stuff, and whatever, and Egwene is upset with him and all that kind of stuff. But I loved. The reason I loved it, I did not enjoy watching the torture of Perrin. That was not fun at all. It was extremely uncomfortable, honestly. Very much so.
I think everything with White Cloaks from here on out is going to be uncomfortable.
Extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, exactly.
The torturing in the beginning was terrible. Anyway, go ahead.
That's a good point too. But the reason why I loved this scene is because, like we've seen with some of the boys and Nynaeve and some of these other characters, I've liked what I've seen of her, but we haven't seen much of her so far in the show.
Yeah, that's true.
But in this scene, I felt like we saw future Egwene now, and like we've seen with some of the guys, and just her character of being a. We'll put in a bleeper, but here being a badass. She was awesome. And clever too. Like and using the system and using, you're a White Cloak. You shouldn't be doing that. And it was chilling his response. What makes you think that I'm somebody that holds my
oath?
And which was like, ooh, that's very chilling. I loved her line, and I should have pulled it back up and wrote it down so I could quote it. But her line that's basically her saying, yeah, go ahead, kill me. That's what you're gonna do. Kill me.
Get it over with.
And then get it over with. If you do, I'm going to come back in my next life and I'm going to stuck you full of what,
I'm going to rip you from head to toe,
exactly,
whatever she says.
Tear you
from limb to limb.
I love that so much. It's just, Yeah, it was really.
And then
great.
the scene that was probably my favorite of the whole thing was the Perrin Golden Eyes, which was in that same right when he starts torturing him.
Yeah, the very first time. Yeah,
yeah,
that we see
and then
it.
it happens again a little bit later. And then, of course, we get her little channeling the fireball.
That was so hilarious. I loved that. That was so funny.
He's like, "Oh, you're gonna have to do more than that, or whatever." It was pretty
and then
good.
Immediately after that, the moment where who was channeling? It was something was going. Was it Perrin channeling or Egwene channeling? I thought that was a brilliant shot. Very, that's another hint that maybe
the dragon reborn.
Maybe Perrin's the dragon, because which I liked that, because all we've seen, the only hint that he might be the dragon we've seen so far was the wolves, right?
The little bit of wolf stuff,
a wolf licking his leg.
Yeah, really. That's pretty much it.
And so I thought that was a very clever way to tease that with him. I like that a lot.
Oh, okay. We'll keep going, but I need to remember there's a little scene with some little things. Okay. Sorry, got sidetracked. Scene with some little men, little wooden men.
Oh yeah.
Forsaken. Anyway.
Yes. Yes.
So I loved how he broke out, got channeled out, whatever happened there, and then they walk out. Well, even before that, when there's the wolves crying throughout different scenes in there, the wolf howl, and then he walks outside,
and golden eyes, we hear
the wolves are tearing everything to shreds, and it was awesome.
That was it's different setting, and it was a camp instead of just or whatever, but that was kind of vaguely similar to the way it happened in the book, sort of. I mean, not exactly.
Yeah, but and then I love the scene where there's one snarling like kind of at them or by them, and he's like, he's not going to hurt us, and she's like, how do you know? And he's like, just wait, you will find out. No, it was really good. I love that. I think that's all for.
I was glad that we got the golden. I was starting to kind of think in the back of my head, we may not even get golden eyes. And we still may not get it quite like it's in the books. I don't know if we're going to get permanent golden eyes. If they do, I bet they tone them down a little bit. That is.
I'm just kidding.
Not saying anything about what that means. Perrin golden eyes.
I hope we do, because I think it was really well done. Anyway,
I think that could be really, really cool.
So the last thing we should talk about, the little
Steppin's incense,
the little incense thing. That was pretty awesome. We need to go back. We will go back and we'll kind of look through that and maybe
make some
video
predictions on which Forsaken they are. There were 8 of them.
Yes.
Which we like many other people are theorizing right now, they're going to cut the number of Forsaken ultimately.
Oh yeah.
And so instead of being 13, there may still be more, but there were pictured 8 little.
Shamael's one of them.
Yeah, well, we've heard that name before already from Dana. I think
true.
The first time.
Yep.
That's exciting.
I'm super excited.
That tease for and for the book readers, and kind of a word tease for everybody else. And whatever else. Yeah, it sounds like we really like this episode, and we do. There's a lot of things that we like, and like most of the things in this show, the more I personally, and I think Jonathan's the same way, the more we look at it,
the more we like it.
And the more we see intentionality and the
reasoning behind scenes. And I saw that several times, and I think that's still the thing. Is there's so many things that you're like, well, why didn't they do this just like the book? Because the book does a great job of it. But then you step back and it's like, well, okay, I can see why this shortens something, or why this is easier for visual reference, or whatever that may
whether
be.
It's budget, or whether it's time, or whether it's clarity, or whether, whatever. We were talking with a comment about, this is from, we don't need to go down this rabbit trail too deep, but since I started this statement, then I'll finish the statement, and then we can leave this whatever, for another conversation. But we were talking about the scene with Tom and Matt and the Aiel from episode 3, and talking about that is not a book scene at all, but it was a beautifully written scene that accomplished what it set out to really well. And there's been a lot of scenes that are not in the books, and various level of it worked or didn't work. But there's some stuff that I think works, and again, this is still probably my least favorite episode. I think you said the same thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
More like, who knows?
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
ruminating on some things, but
No,
so we definitely have some the pace. I still think the pacing in this episode was wonky, and we kitchen sinked it, in my opinion.
Yeah. We got Loial talking about Aiel too.
We did. We got Rand is
some more
Aiel
futuristic
or not
things.
an Aiel, or he has red hair or something.
He's an Aiel that says he's
Aiel from the Two Rivers.
Boy from the Two Rivers that's an Aiel that says he's not an Aiel, or however he said it. I love it.
That's odd.
That's odd. I like oddities.
Yeah, that's probably a good place for us to end this reaction.
Yep. So, what did you guys like or dislike about this episode? Hopefully, you have lots of thoughts. We'd love to hear about them. We'll have more content coming for you shortly.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all the things. Thank you so much for all your support.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.